Hey guys, and welcome back to the Global Life. So today we're leaving Florida and headed over to Colorado. It's going to be a beautiful approach, I know it, into Aspen, and I can't wait to take that video and share it with you. Aspen is such a gorgeous area of the world, and the approach into it is also one of the most challenging, especially with the plane like the Global, where the wings are so slippery and the plane just wants to go. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this once we're in the plane. Figure out, the details, and talk about really what we want to be looking for, how we want to prepare for that. Slight detail about Aspen, and I'll show you on the map. Is that the minimums there are fairly high. I mean, they're considered, VFR, right? You need almost 3,000 feet of ceiling, a lot of visibility, and you'll see the reason for that is that steep approach into there. There's two different kinds of approach I guess you can do. There's a low DME approach that most people will do. There's an RNAV approach that we like to employ because the MIST approach is a bit simpler. On an approach like this, you also have to think about your MIST approach, climb gradient. Will you be able to make that on a single engine, etc., etc. So I mean, today the weather is really good. There's not too much to worry about. So in case of a MIST approach there, you'd probably turn around, go visual, get out of the bowl there, probably go to Aspen, to Denver, something like that. Another thing to think about when you're on a single engine, especially on a jet like this, half bank. Okay, so I've heard a lot of pilots talk about, hey, let's brief this approach or departure even, and they'll be like, yeah, today is beautiful visual day, so we don't need to meet the SID gradient. We'll just do a VFRC and avoid. The catch with that is, as you take off, you lose an engine, you're only going to be turning around half bank. Now, do you really want to guess whether you can make that turn at half bank and avoid the cumulo granite that's there? That's not a guess that I would like to make, so I like to be safe. In these circumstances, we want to make sure that either we can get out of there on a single engine, or you get a runway analysis done, and something like APG can help a lot, and that way you cover your bases and you know that you're safe. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the video, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. We're now planning our descent into Aspen. Should be a pretty interesting approach. It's clear weather today, so you'll get to see most of it, which will be nice. Typically planning this approach far out, usually you want to be configured and stable by the final approach fix, and I'll show you that on the plate. So look at the map from red table. You'll see it's still quite a ways to the airport, but it's a super steep approach, and because of that we need to be fully configured, gears down, full flaps, and we'll even be probably going down on the spoilers to make sure that we capture that REF speed and keep it all the way down. Because it's visual, we'll be able to go steeper and regain a more natural approach angle closer to the runway, whereas in full IFR, this approach would take you down on a 6.5 degree slope all the way down to minimums, and then you'd be working pretty hard to get that airplane down on the runway. The missed approach altitude is pretty high also. That's just to give you the space to turn around in the climb out of there on the missed approach. So as you can see, Aspen, we're going to do the RNAV GPS Foxtrot. If you look at the minimums down there, it's 10,220 feet, which is almost 2,500 feet AGL. We're going to start the approach here at red table, and from there all the way down to the runway. So you can see at red table the altitude passing is 13,700 feet, and the airport elevation is 7,800 feet. You can see the glide path angle here at 6.49 degrees. So you got 5 nautical miles here to lose all this altitude. So you're boogieing down, and that's one of the reasons why we have to use the spoilers. One thing to keep in mind here on the Global Express is, as you use the spoilers, the stall cue will come up, and the other throttles naturally want to protect that, so they'll be accelerating. So it's one of the few approaches where you have to disconnect the auto throttles and go down with manual throttle. So without further ado, let's get on with it.
Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now.
Okay, right turn to remain on or west of final, chart 925. Yes, sir. So far it looks like you got it all set up. Steep you wanted us to make the right turn there to be good on final. Yes, that's correct. final. Yeah, but copy traffic, clear line, runway 15, try 924. Check. You're roughing in 10 or so at the moment. No, I'm looking outside for him. I don't see him on the runway, so he's going to be passing off. He's taking off now.
Traffic.
Yeah, I got
Traffic.
him. He's ahead of, on top of us now. Oh yeah, look at him.
Back with the copies.
Check. Papi's a 3.5 degree. You're at VREF. I see your spoilers are retracted, fully configured, and cleared to land. Missed approach and VAC are set. Yep. Looking good at VREF. I think that's because he kept, like, he made you go on the actual final. That came in slanted and faster.
50, 30, 10.
Spoilers extended. Quick manual braking to unlock and reverse.
Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Landlord say your rent is late. He may have to litigate. Don't worry.
Thanks, man.
So here we are, back in Aspen. You'll notice that Aspen is one of the few airports in the world where, because of the single runway and the valley the way it is, you gotta land one way, take off the other 99% of the time. So mostly jets end up landing with a tailwind, about 5-7 knots, never too crazy, and they take off with the headwind. So we landed here, runway 15, and most jets will be departing runway 33.
Be happy. Don't worry, be happy.